Hello, beautiful humans. It's time for This is Melissa Marie. This is me, I'm Rory. It's Monday Night Muses. Live from New York, it's Monday night. Melissa is a super awesome, wonderful human of many talents. She is a poetess. She is a broadcaster and general amazing video broadcasting human. She is an overall badass. She is a leader of workshops. She is a presenter of events. She is a maker of nifty art and crafts and buttons and cool shit. She is a lover of cats, and if you are her friend, she will send you so many pictures of the cats, and it's great. And it's a trick sometimes because some of the cats look like each other. They're hard to identify. Keeps the brain healthy. I still don't know which one is Wellington, which one is Dexter all the time, but I'm just glad to know that I'm saying hello to them. Anyway, friends, this is Melissa Marie. Hang on, I gotta pop this theme song for her a little bit higher. I'll let it go one more time. That's it. Hi.
I love it.
Thank you for being party to my ridiculousness. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Melissa Magic. We got big Melissa energy.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm hitting share and like sending this all over the place. So sorry if I look like a little distracted.
That is pretty much a story of my life for the first song of Monday Night Muses every week.
Yeah, you know the drill.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
We got Melissa. We have all the Melissas. We have Celia. Hi, Celia.
Hi, Celia. Hi, Melissa. Hi, everyone.
Hello, few peg, very few pegs. I don't know. Hello. Good to see you. What songs are we playing? Well, actually, we are about to do a friggin' poetry workshop today. Melissa's going to lead us. She's going to read a couple of poems, and then she is going to lead us in a free write. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the Barrens Jam, PBJ Fest, later. But like TLDR, it's going to be a really exciting artsy, music-y festival in the fall. And you're going to love it. Let me pop that thing in the comment here. I'm going to pop up a link to Melissa's website and also to her virtual tip jar. If you find this workshop delightful, then throw some love at her in the form of dollars. We're millennials. We're doing our best. Dollars really help.
Dollars do help.
Is that slam poetry? It's slam-like. Would you describe your style as slam poetry?
I usually run with like performance poetry. Like there is some stylistic feels to it. Slam is a very specific, it tends to be a competitive thing. You're going on stage and working for reactions and stuff like that. So, performance poetry, spoken word is usually, I think, the most common nomenclature that people would recognize it as.
Nice. Thank you. I didn't know that. I don't know what makes slam poetry. I just picture a person like slamming a composition notebook and like everyone in the room going like, oh, wow.
Slam poetry is like, first off, I'm terrible at memorizing things, but like slam poetry is like otherworldly and like it's usually competitive. They compete for money a lot of times and it goes by like audience interaction and there's judges. And, I got my start with the Muse doing their slam poetry competition. But I don't consider myself like a slam poet. It's just, I'm very Italian and I talk with my hands and I'm real loud and I talk fast. So.
Slam poetry with a side of pasta.
Slides into workshop late. That's okay.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. Hi.
Everybody please follow Anti-Fragile Tarot. Excellent human, really wonderful podcast, and also sometimes comes on to like do readings, do deck reviews, just talk about a particular topic. Delightful human being. Please follow her. Muses like rock band. So Monday Night Muses, and thank you so much for tuning in, by the way. Monday Night Muses is a weekly series. It happens appropriately enough on Monday nights. And I always have an opener for the first hour, which is right this minute, from 7 to 8. Often it is a musician. It's original focused. Often it's a musician. But today it's this awesome poetry workshop. And then at 8 o'clock, at the top of the hour, it's 8 o'clock my time, Eastern time, I take over and I do live looping and music and poetry and general shenanigans. Not any specific shenanigans, just general ones. So that's a story on Monday Night Muses. Hey, Michelle. Thanks for popping your head in. I'll see you later. East Coast, Beast Coast.
Frankie Coast with the win. Thank you. East Coast, Beast Coast.
Yes. Big. I'm just gonna I have this rock organ because Melissa was like, give me jam band energy for my theme song. And I'm like,
of course.
Classic rock organ. Here we go.
Yes, I love it.
So I'm just like every so often going to punctuate our conversation with
very
organ
Pink
chords.
McConnell. I'm super into it. I hope Dan is listening.
Blue and Sundries, hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, Christine Scambati. Everyone's tuned in, y'all.
Hi, Mom.
Thanks for tuning in. I love it. Okay. Well, I have explained to you that Melissa is a glorious, wonderful human who does all of the things, and I'm just recapping for the people who came in recently. She does many things, more things than you would think a person could do. There might be some like fairy blood in her lineage. I'm not really sure. It's a lot of things. She has a lot of cats, and they're great. They're really wonderful, and if you ask her nicely, she will tell you about her cats. And what else can I tell you about her?
Or if you don't ask, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, she will anyway, which is a gift to the universe. Because you don't have to have that awkward, can I see your cat conversation. She's a poet. She is a writer's workshop leader, which is what she's going to be doing today. She is a photographer. She is a designer. Hire her. And she is a broadcaster. She does all the things. So anyway, she's great. I'm going to get out of the way and let her introduce herself and do a couple of poems. And then I'll come back a little later with some live looping when we do the free write. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, Rory. I am like unbelievably excited to be here. I would show everyone my cats right now, but I'm actually apartment sitting in Brooklyn. So I'll be spending the next 10 days in the lovely area of Crown Heights. Otherwise, there would definitely be cats here. But thank you, Rory, so much for that introduction. You are incredible, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. You've been such a huge support and a huge inspiration. And we are going to be talking about creative inspiration later for sure. Shout out Jeff. Yeah, Jeff's the fan favorite. If he was here, he'd be right here. So like Rory said, I do so many things, but I am rooted in poetry. I've been reading, writing, and speaking and performing poetry since middle school. I've been published in some like local little things here and there. I perform all the time. I mean, pre-COVID, I suppose. And then I spent most of COVID operating a virtual broadcasting organization where I was able to create a community space for all the people like you to come out and perform. And I'm just really grateful to be here. So I thought I would kick it off with two pieces that I wrote. This first one is something I wrote a couple of months into quarantine, which I can't even believe that that's over a year now that we've been dealing with this pandemic. And I'm so grateful for everyone for being here. I hope you're all in good health and well. So this piece is called A Poem Beneath. I have to write a poem beneath months of rubble, scratch through to the surface with fattening fingertips, unveil bed sheets stained with salt of my tears and lonely sweat. I have to write a poem beneath collapse of society, of self, of imploding social circles and bodies. I count the hash marks until I can cling to their pieces again. I have to write a poem beneath the dissolve of my family, the death of my grandfather feeling like forever because life fell apart right after. And I forget until I see my father drunk with worry or think about Sunday dinners. I have to write a poem beneath shadow, the engulfing realization that I am alone. We all die by ourselves, even when we're surrounded. I have to write a poem beneath missing stanzas because there are people listening, and even my loud Italian mouth knows when to leave things unsaid. I have to write a poem beneath loss, a decade to form the clay, the push, the try, the hurt, seeing all we could have been only to discover the clay was me. And I am still so very soft despite the fires I have been through. I have to write a poem beneath the new weight of my body, the weight of the world, the weight of the globe's tears, the weight of waiting. I have to write a poem beneath the oceans of others, lifting them to the surface as I ignore my well-trained, empty lungs. I have to write a poem beneath flickering headlamp. My sunshine sieged by nightfall, I am not equipped to navigate this new terrain in even the best conditions. I have to write a poem beneath blending in, beneath dismissal, because suddenly I am like everyone else. Sharp tongue, drowning soul, heavy heart. I have to write a poem beneath a mask, shout my words 6 feet away only to have the canyon of this year swallow each note whole, not offering so much as an echo in return. Thank you. And I have one more piece for y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and for listening to what I have to say. I'm 1 year older, but I'm 1,000 years older, you know? Yeah, that is a very realistic statement. Snaps, thanks. All right, so this next one is called I Am Everywhere, and this is one of my favorite pieces to read. Thank you, Rory Kelly, who says, I friggin' love that poem. They don't have a snap emoji? Oh, they got to get some of those in there. This next one is called I Am Everywhere. And this is just the summation of who I am as a person. So I am everywhere. Bull in China shop, a mess scattered. I joke it makes up for all the years women weren't allowed to take up space. I spent 25 doing my best to make myself smaller and quieter before I got fatter and someone thought it was a good idea to hand me a microphone. My wardrobe, once black and my handbag small, now I am tie-dye. My backpack rivals the Breakfast Club. Yeah, I always carry this much shit in my bag. You never know when you may have to jam. I think about running away. Then I'm told my mess, my honesty are sunshine, that I get people out of bed. I am stopped in my tracks. Most people would see that as a challenge, as pressure to be, but I just wake up and I am. So I stay put. And chances are you will find my shoes long before you'll see me in a room. My voice will always beat me through a threshold when I am not being a shoulder. In a crowd of denim and black, I am yellow, paisley, and pastels, barefoot on the floor. I am ubiquitous and was once full of apology until I realized the ocean never once said it was sorry for roaring or making waves. Thank you, everyone, for giving a couple of minutes to listen to me. I appreciate it. More snaps. Thanks, guys. I'm just going to do those two pieces. I'm really looking forward to getting some loop jams going. I hope everyone's got a notebook or a pen and paper and something to write on or with, or you could get like a little slate and a scratch pad, whatever you want, because we are going to do some very fun, laid-back writing exercises. Just get the juices flowing. And I believe Rory Kelly is going to join me back here to do just that.
Hi.
Hi, you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay, before we start the free write, because it's ephemeral and it's going to disappear forever, I just want to play your theme song one more time.
Okay.
That's it. It's going to go away. I want it
I love it so much, though. Like, it had a very like jammy fish vibe. I super dig it.
Yeah, you guys missed it because it was like while we were preparing. But I was like, what style would you like your theme song to be in? Which I don't ask everyone, by the way. Usually I just choose for them. I'm like, Delilah. I'm like, I know what I will play for you. But I asked her, and she was like, kind of jam band vibes. And I'm like, here comes the organ. Here come the seventh chords. It's happening.
I mean, I only have two modes. It's either jam band or lo-fi, and like lo-fi didn't really feel right for the intro music, although it could definitely have worked. I'm sure you would have made it work. All right. So I believe Rory is gonna do a little bit of vibey loop jamming for us now. And what I would love for everyone watching to do, unless you have anything else you need to impart on our audience, Rory, before we get started.
Nope.
Okay.
You're in charge.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Actually, wait, I have one thing to share.
Okay.
Delilah. I just wanted to sing that to you all.
I love that.
Please, no one actually tell Delilah I don't want to be sued for copyright infringement. Okay, I'm good.
We'll be really quiet. It was less than 10 seconds, so I don't think anything will get picked up. All right, cool. So what I would like everyone to do, actually, I need to bring up a little count. What do we call it? Stopwatch? What is the word? Stopwatch. And if everyone has their writing utensils available, I'm going to give y'all a very lovely 10 minutes of free writing. And so free writing, basically what we do when we try to sit down and create anything is, I feel like a lot of us put this editor or this roadblock in our head of like, whatever I put on this page or whatever I play on this guitar or whatever I type on this computer has to be this like perfect masterpiece. And like, that is not what this is. It is not at all something that needs to be good. It doesn't even need to be good. Like, it doesn't even need to make sense or be coherent. The point is to just get whatever is like happening in your brain out onto your device in front of you, whatever that may be. So the trick is going to be to just keep writing. If you're not a writer, it's still a fun activity. It doesn't have to be a poem. It doesn't need a formation or anything like that. Just hang out. If you have chosen to just have an instrument in your lap today, jam, play, like hang out, do whatever. If you record it and want to send it to me later, bonus points. I would love that.
I'll be jamming in the key of C, by the way. Perfect. Just to make it very accessible for everyone.
So if you're just tuning in for visual entertainment and you want to bust out an instrument, there we go. Thank you, Rory. So I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock. Rory's going to play some cool tunes. She's also going to be writing with us. And at the end, if anyone has sentences or anything they want to share in the chat, I would love to see them. So take it away, Rory. Do you want to make yourself big and you can make me like small since you're gonna? Yeah. Yeah. What do they get? They're gonna look at the top of my head, like.
They're all gonna look at me writing in a minute too. Okay.
Well, whatever makes you comfortable. All right, y'all enjoy.
I just want to let y'all know the sound I have chosen to start our jam with is called "Digging Deeper Clav" because we're gonna dig deep.
I love it. Got about 1 minute. Y'all want to start wrapping up your last sentences and thoughts? We are approaching the 10-minute mark. All right, everybody. Well, I'm never free writing without loop jams ever again, so thanks.
Sorry.
That was lovely.
Thank you. It's so fun to get to do that. It's so fun to just quietly be an orchestra while everyone does things.
That outro, though.
I can't. I'm also like an idiot. I'm sorry. I can't
That was wonderful. All right, so how's everyone do? Ooh, 2 pages. Did you get 2 pages written?
Always the overachiever, Susanna.
That's what happens when you don't stop writing and you just let it go. Let's hear some feedback in the chat. If anybody wants to say, like, was that easy? Was that hard? Did they find they were able to create something? Were they like, wow, I wrote garbage, which is totally fine. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Or were you like, oh, I just wrote the next greatest hit? Like, I'm very curious to see how everyone's feeling today. And Susanna, I love that you got 2 pages. All right. Diggy says it was easy and fun. I like it. Yeah, Susanna, I mean, brain dumping is essentially what a free write is for. I mean, there's all, later, if we have some time, I'll do a prompt and let us get another round going with a little bit more context, but essentially just brain dumping, journaling, writing the same thing over and over again, like whatever it is to keep your pen moving and keep your brain flowing, and eventually something will come out. Got some good lines. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, I'm so glad that this was successful, everyone. That makes me very happy. If you found any good lines that you want to share, you could drop them in the chat and Rory can highlight them. Rory, did you get some writing done?
I did get some writing done.
Yay.
By the way, it's so cool to see, like, there are all these really good songwriters and really good poets in the chat right now, and I'm just like, you're on Muses writing. I'm really happy.
Yeah, that makes me super duper happy. I saw Andrea in the chat before, Andrea Manning of the Muse. Love. So thankful for the Muse Exchange. They are a huge part of my entire creative existence. I'm so thankful for everything that the Muse Exchange does. They have a super cool virtual open mic interactive kind of watch party every other Thursday. I think, was it last week? Maybe if she's still in the chat, maybe she's in the chat. Andrea, if you want to drop the info for the Muse from the Edge, that would be wonderful so that people can check it out, because y'all do such a wonderful job. And I just love the Muse and Pete and everybody that's been involved. So
the Muse is super awesome, and not related to Monday Night Muses, by the way. I wasn't trying to steal your name. Actually, it was my cousin's idea, Delia Stanley. She came out with Monday Night Muses. It's just great to be a muse, right? So
love that. And I love Delia. So hi, Delia.
Sometimes even the writer says exactly the most times when I'm trying to have an important conversation. That's what I'm going to say.
That's perfect. I love that. Awesome. Well, I'm really, really glad that everybody got a little bit of the rust out of the brain. I know Mondays are tough for a lot of people. I don't even know what days are anymore, but there's still some sort of construct.
Our days.
But even our days. So I guess that's kind of a good segue into, I wanted to talk a little bit about creativity in general. Obviously, a lot of different types of artists watch Monday Night Muses, and we are also lucky to be part of a community of artists that express themselves in so many different facets. And a lot of times, especially with the pandemic, with feeling more isolated from people, we can get stuck in ruts, or we can feel not creative, or we can just have a hard time expressing ourselves. And I wanted to kind of talk about that and see how people are feeling about where they're at in their creative process, and are they stuck, and what are the things that they're getting hung up on. So I did post on my Instagram and my Facebook just a simple poll, and it was, what do you feel is your biggest creative obstacle right now? Time or inspiration? And I was surprised, because I thought a lot more people were going to say time, but an abundance of people said inspiration. And I think that's really interesting. And I think a lot of that has to do with, we're not gigging as much. We're not seeing people as much. We're not interacting as much or in the same ways that we usually are. And a lot of people, I know for myself, I drew a lot of my inspiration from just watching other artists perform and convening with my friends. And it's obviously much more difficult to do that now. How do you feel, Rory? Do you feel like do you struggle more with time or more with inspiration? Or are you always in like a good, you're in a pretty creative groove right now, doing all kinds of good things, but.
I don't, maybe for me, it's like a little weird, because I think I struggle to make time for my art, like even when maybe I have time, there's always something more important I should do, which is hilarious as someone who makes a living with her art, but there's my brain for you. But I also can really, I remember when I was working 9 to 5 at like a day job, and it was more than 9 to 5, like most day jobs, let's be real, it's always more than full time. And, yeah, exactly. And I would remember being very excited to come home and work on a song, or come home and work on something creative and exciting. And by the time you get home, you're like, I'm exhausted. I want to watch Netflix and drink this cardboard box of wine in my fridge and not do anything else and pet a cat. And it's really the struggle is real, because you only have so much good brain energy during the day, and it's friggin' sucks when it gets spent on something that's honestly just here I am paying my dues to survive in capitalism.
Yeah,
some votes for time. Vote for time. Yeah. I really love this as I love the spiritual implications of vote for time.
And if anyone in the chat has other obstacles that are neither time nor inspiration, I would love to hear that. I know, so some of the really common things that we hear a lot are Rose saying, we're exhausted. Mm-hmm. That's a huge deal, whether it's physically, emotionally. The last year of our lives has not exactly been a walk in the park. It could be avoidance. It could be, I don't want to approach these feelings. And again, we're just talking general creativity, music, visual art, dance, cooking, writing, all art is valid art, and anything you make is art. So, when I'm using that term very generally, I know I'm a writer and, I do spoken word, but I just want to remind everybody, this is not just specific to writing. But yeah, so addressing feelings is hard. And that's where a lot of times that block can happen. And something like a free write is great, because maybe you don't want to talk about the thing in the room that's difficult. So you talk about something else, and you either come up with a great metaphor or, a way of talking about the thing without talking about the thing. Or you just write and write and write, and then eventually you start talking about the thing and you realize, oh, that wasn't too bad, or it was really bad, but I feel better now. So there's a lot of avoidance issues that can happen. And then, of course, the biggest one that I know a lot of my friends and me, like, making sure what you make is good. You know, I think we all feel like we're all very good at what we do. I mean, I have tons of talented friends. There's a ton of really talented individuals watching right now and participating. Rory, you're incredibly talented, and like,
you're really talented too, Melissa.
And it's hard to write crap and be okay with it and be like, okay, I guess I wrote this. Like, you know, I feel like we find like our validation, but it's okay for this to be garbage, because I think, was it Susanna? Someone said they had like a good sentence. That's great. If you write 2 pages and you find one sentence that you end up writing a whole piece about, or you create a collage over, or you sparks a song, that was perfect. Even if the rest of it was maybe not your best work.
Yeah. I would love to share some of the stuff people wrote, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're getting a lot of stuff in the chat and I talk too much. So let's see what other
you don't
people
talk
got.
too much. It's like really all topical. So, Sue said, I've been having a little both with my tarot gig. Susanna and I are both tarot readers and also both creative humans. And Susanna also like is busy saving the world 90% of the time, very literally, as an emergency room worker. And thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone send wonderful vibes to Susanna for helping us. And she says it's both finding time to commit to doing things for my passion hobby side gig, and also I didn't realize how much insight and inspiration I got from doing tarot stuff in person. That's really interesting too, because it's been like a whole, I don't know, 18 months since any of us have been able to do in-person things. Like, it's just starting to come back, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
And Bree says, exhausted and learning how to manage the ADHD. Big mood. Also, hi, Bree. Bree is also super McWonderful. Bree, will you please send me some poems to read on Poetry Corner? Please, please.
Yes.
Please. Yeah, big mood. I also was thinking about, and this is not in any way to like diminish, the experience of people who have a diagnosis, but I was thinking about how our experience as people who are now like super uber connected all the time, like leads to executive dysfunction for everybody, you know? And like, I feel it for me as a person like who is, uses social media and stuff for work, and it's important, so I have to be there, but then I'm like zombie scrolling, right? And I'm like, this has to be so much worse for as far as I am aware, I'm fairly neurotypical, like this has to be like double the horrendousness, and it's really bad for me. So
no, I'm definitely in the same boat.
It's a crazy culture, it is all I'm gonna say, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if we can fix it.
No. And you know what? So that's actually my next thing that I want to talk about. And I want to see how everyone in the chat is feeling about it. Like, so what do you do to break out of these ruts, or how do you break through not wanting to write or not wanting to do something? Everyone, it's so funny because everyone's always like, you're always so busy and you're always doing all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But like right now, like I'm just exhausted, and like doing anything is so much work. Like,
yeah. And anything trying to be creative on top of it.
Yeah, like anything that's not like sitting on my couch watching Netflix is like a lot of work for me, and I'm finding myself really stuck. And that's why. So I'm not at my house. Like I said, I am plant sitting for a friend in Brooklyn for the next 10 days, and I was like, yes, get me out of my house, put me somewhere else. Because
it's amazing. A change of scenery makes such a difference.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I try to do. I find that I do feel more creative when I go somewhere else, when I travel, when I leave my familiar space, when I can't be anywhere near my couch or my cats. Like, my cats are a huge distraction for me because I just want to like hang out with them, and then they encourage napping and like vegging out, Susanna does. Nanowrimo. That's a great one and quite the challenge.
I friggin' love Nanowrimo.
Yeah.
And I have tried it. Like, I never ever won Nanowrimo. I've won in the fact that I've written things. I'm big on not grading ourselves pass fail, but instead of acknowledging progress earned.
Yeah.
Because no one is giving us, like, this does not affect our GPA.
No, it
but
does not.
our life GPA, you know. But yeah, Susanna, I do National Novel Writing Month every year. It's the most. That's most of the sum of my creative work over the last few years. Aside from creating podcasts and the occasional crafting or poems, I just kind of want to throw
Oh,
out there that many of us are victims of imposter syndrome, and that's a lot of creative output.
Nanowrimo is like a huge deal.
But I
That's the
also
only thing you do all year. Good for you.
that's huge. But I also want to validate the fact that for someone who is creatively driven and who loves, you know, the arts, that it's very, very hard to get to a place of like, yes, I feel satisfied with my creative output. Like, it's very hard. You always feel like you're cramming it into corners. And
Yes.
you always feel like you're digging deep, you know, like mustering up the energy for it, you know.
Yeah,
And I say this as
absolutely.
like people, you know, like I think people have this idea like, oh, you know, like, you know, if we didn't all have like, you know, have to work to earn a living and all that, like, and I do my art for my living and I still feel that way. It's crazy, you know.
I think that's when it gets really hard, honestly, is when you do your art for a living.
Yeah,
Because
then it's
then
because
that's
it's
all
never the
you're,
only thing you're doing.
yeah.
You're always doing like the admin stuff. You're doing the booking. You're doing the publicity and stuff that needs to happen. You're doing sales. Like if you're a freelancer, you're
Yes.
for a freelance artist of any kind. You are also a salesperson. Like it or not, that's part of the job. And
It's
it's
true.
like hard because it feels like all those supportive things that support an arts career. Like you're like, well, that's what's going to pay the bills. I can't be doing the music. And it's funny because that's literally like you literally got into it against that type of advice, you know, but you know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Anyway, this is not my therapy session. I'm sorry.
No, but they're good. They're good things to acknowledge because we're all in some capacity experiencing the same thing. I don't know any creative people who are like, I have all the time in the world and my life is a breeze and I write, 1,000 words a day and I'm just having no issues whatsoever. Like we all have obstacles. Our obstacles are our jobs. Our obstacles are getting into a rut where you just don't feel inspired. There's so many reasons we don't create. And there's a lot of different ways to break out of that. So like I said, like changing your scenery, going somewhere else, even if it's a different room. I was talking with Bruce Allwan the other night about just sitting in a different space helps. Like I know if I sit in my living room, I am not getting anything done.
It's so true. Like I
Yeah.
also spend 90% of my time when I'm at home in this room. This is like
Hmm.
it's my studio, I call it my feminist fairy cave because that's cute.
Yeah.
But like this is where I record and it's where I like do my administrative work and it's where I do like all the things to manage my career. And then like if I want to sit and chill and relax, that's not entirely possible here anymore.
No.
Like it's like the association. I want to highlight this comment from DiggyCat who says, I think the way I keep from getting stuck is getting my 8 to 9 hours of sleep nightly. Can I just celebrate 8 to 9 hours of sleep? Yes, we are such an anti-sleep culture and it's bogus and I'm calling it out. It's super bogus and then we we hear like, oh, 8 hours is the recommended of sleep per night. So everyone's like 8 hours is the most sleep you can get. Like that's what it turns into, right? Like we're selfish if we have 8 hours and 2 minutes of sleep,
Yep.
like we're just lazy. And it's like adequate sleep is so friggin' important and so hard to come by in this culture. Anyway, I just wanted to go on that sleep rant. And also using hypnotic suggestions before I sleep. Diggy, can you share some of the hypnotic if you don't mind, if it's not too personal, like what type of suggestions you might use before you drift off? Because I'm also a sleep nerd and I'm deeply curious about that.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. And it's kind of what you were saying before. My bedroom is also my office. Like it kind of inadvertently, when I moved to the upstairs portion of my house, I set up a desk and all of my workspace, and then it became my work area and my bedroom. And then obviously with the broadcasting organization, like I spent an entire year pretty much in my bedroom. So now like I can't even be creative in my own bedroom because it's now an office. So, and I'm very thankful because I have a large space and I have a studio and I just cleaned it out before I came out to Brooklyn so that when I get back in 2 weeks, I will have a clean space. And I'm hoping that I can now go into that space with that. This is a space for creating and not a space for Netflix and scrolling on my phone and eating and doing all of my, distracting habits.
Yeah. I also just want to highlight this from Melissa.
Yeah.
Everyone feels like they must hustle instead of heal because it's so big. Melissa, you just like have a gift.
That was great.
For these, aphorisms, but they're not like, I don't mean aphorism and like it sounds important, but it's not like it really is true. You just have this gift for like getting right to the heart of the matter and going like, ugh, like right in the friggin' feels. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And it's true. We feel like we have to hustle. And like, I know it's a lot of like, anyone who knows me knows that I'm constantly like, I'm really busy and I'm doing all this stuff. But I also like to tell people like, this is not okay. I don't sleep enough. I have an eating disorder. Yes. I have struggles and problems. Like my behavior isn't healthy a lot of the times. And I'm working, like, I don't glorify when I sleep for 4 hours and work for 20 in a row. I say, hey, don't do this if you can avoid it. Like, and I'm learning from myself. We all have bad habits that we know are bad. And I'm definitely one of those people that I try not to glorify or encourage it. It's more acknowledging this is my lifestyle. It is not really a great lifestyle health-wise, even though I'm productive and I get a lot of things done and I'm very happy. It's exhausting and you should be taking care of yourself, and getting 8 hours of rest is very important. I do try to sleep a lot more these days and it makes an incredible difference.
Also, like, I also don't want to glorify it, and I get it. I get the, like, because I'm super busy, and I've recently tried to be less busy. I've tried to like be less of a workaholic. But when I tell people like, I've, been gigging this many nights this week, I've, like, it's been this long since I haven't had a gig or whatever, people are like, good for you. And it's like, it's almost like I'm saying like, no, help me stop.
Yes. And we've both messaged each other. I mean, there were countless times you've messaged me and been like, hello, have you like drank a glass of water today? Because I've been looking at your Facebook statuses. And I'm like,
yes,
thank you. No.
Because also, as millennials, our chief exports are gallows humor and encouragement to hydrate.
Yes.
Like, that's what we are good at.
Diggy.
Let me put these up. And then I know we want to talk about PBJ.
I do, yes.
And also, I know we were going to do a little free write with words from the chat, so I want to leave time for that.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
So, Diggy Cat says, the 30 minutes before we go to sleep, we naturally enter the hypnotic state, bypass the 12% of the conscious mind, and enters the 88% subconscious. It depends on what outcome I am looking for. I love this. Preach, Diggy. I'll say different things 5 times, i.e., tomorrow I will wake up refreshed and ready to make songs, or I am worthy, open, and deserving of blessings, opportunities, and miracles. Or tomorrow I will wake up and get to such and such. I love it. And I love the mix of, like practical and self-care in there, that like both things are sacred and need to be honored. As a cat, I'm pro sleep. Both pro sleep and a pro at sleeping.
That was great. Wow, that was very cool. Thank you for that neat little piece of insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for kind of just being real and sharing some of the things that you're struggling with, as well as some of the ways that you overcome those obstacles. This should be a continued conversation. Anybody that, wants to volunteer, you can shoot me messages. We can keep talking about this stuff because it's important, and it's definitely something I focus a lot on. I do host workshops. They're a little less of me talking and a lot more of you writing and creating, but it is something that comes up a lot. And I think it's important to take a mental health approach to creativity because they are kind of one with each other.
Big mood. So let's talk about Barrens Jam.
Yes, I'm so excited for Barrens Jam. So in case anyone watching is not familiar, on September 18th at Ringhoff Farm, we are going to be hosting Barrens Jam, which is going to be a made by Long Island, for Long Island, on Long Island music and arts festival featuring all local artists and musicians from across the island. It's going to be Ringhoff Farm, not plural. So Ringhoff Farm in Center Moriches. And you can learn more at pinebarrensjam.com. Tickets are on sale now, and I'm going to be hosting the Peanut Butter Poetry and Arts stage. And there are many wonderful local artists performing on that stage. Rory Kelly is performing. I think you're also on the acoustic stage, right?
I know, I'm just
you're
everywhere.
Like, yeah.
I'm just spreading myself around like pollen.
Yeah, I love it. So Rory will be performing on the acoustic stage. She's going to be doing some poetry corner loop jamming on my poetry and arts stage, which make sure you stick around after this because she'll be on at 8 to do her original music as well as poetry corner. So don't go anywhere when we're done. There's going to be visual artists. I know Andrew Manning's in the chat. She's going to be involved. Russ Green is in the chat. He is involved. There's a lot of people. We're still reaching out. We're still working on a lot of details. We did move locations so that we could still make this event happen. And we're just really looking forward to having everybody come. It's pinebarrensjam.com. Like I said, I was just looking for that.
Yeah. Let me
okay. Yeah. And we would just really love to see everyone there. It's going to be a stellar lineup. There's going to be an acoustic stage, a main stage, vendors, food. There's going to be some vegan food as well. So all of our plant-based friends will not starve. Thank you very much, Rory. So we really look forward to seeing everyone there.
Is there a streaming component of PPJ? Because
there's
I know,
not
like,
going to be a streaming component.
Long Island and nowhere near Long Island viewers right now.
So there is not going to be a streaming component. We did a fundraiser virtually a couple months ago. It wasn't really a couple months ago. 2 months? Oh my God, I don't know. there was some virtual components for fundraising, but the event itself is going to be live in person. It will be socially distanced, but I do believe now we're at a point, and by September, we'll definitely, I think, assuming we continue in the wonderful pace that we're all going with this pandemic, we should be clear to be able to be outside without masks, staying in our respective locations and really enjoying ourselves and supporting the arts and supporting the community. So I really look forward to everybody being there, and Rory, I'm sure, is going to knock it out of the park on both of her performances. Frankie Matos is in the chat. He's also going to be performing. Rio Nisha is going to be performing. She's in the chat. So we have a nice bunch of heavy hitters.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm super I can't wait. I also can't wait because and I'm sure my fellow musicians can relate to this, like I never get to hear the people I want to hear because I always have a gig. And so like a festival like this where I get to like play and also hear everybody and see everybody and like hug everybody if we're vaccinated and all okay with it and consenting, it's just feels so good, you know?
Yeah, cool.
So
all right, well, we have 3 minutes, and what I'm thinking is if everyone in the chat could throw a word in the chat.
Any word.
Any word.
Keep it like, vaguely appropriate.
Yeah, vague, not too specific, maybe lighthearted, maybe something kind of fun. And I'm thinking maybe we could do a free write, but you could loop and then just roll us out from there. Okay.
So we're gonna go right until 8 for this free write, and and feel free to continue, by the way, like free writing after we roll you out. But I want to let you know, and this is always my speech, so if you're a regular, you know it. I am going to be ending this broadcast and starting a new one. If you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, all you have to do is stay exactly where you are and the new broadcast will start and it'll be like magic. If you're on Facebook, Facebook makes everything hard. So just get back to my page, facebook.com/Rory Kelly Music. I'll even type it in the chat for you, like copy and paste that ish, so that you have it. Just go back there and like refresh it if you don't right away see the video as like the first thing on there, because that's how you'll get back to the stream.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have a couple of words. I am going to start some live looping, and I'm going to be putting these words kind of in rotation.
All right, so everyone keep an eye on the screen. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight, for taking the time to listen to me talk and run my mouth. Thank you, Rory, for having me and your beautiful loop jams. Grab your pen, grab your paper, write until your heart is full or empty, depending on how you look at it. And make sure you don't go anywhere so you can check out Rory's set after that. Thank you so much, everybody.
And Melissa, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for coming on Muses. Thank you for bringing your formidable presence and wonderfulness to us. We love
you. Thank you.
I love you.